Hello, good morning, welcome, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is the beginning of a series of discussions which I'm setting up. And it's about Gematria, and it's based on my book, which is this book up on the screen, the Gematria of Genesis. Primarily focusing on Genesis, but also on Jewish holy days and festivals. So in this opening session, what I would like to do is just say, what is Gematria? And the closest we can get to it in English language, I suppose, is numerology, but it's not numerology. It's not to do with predictions and birth dates and names and so on and so forth. It's really getting into, and this is what I have on the screen, the DNA of the Torah. And I say DNA because if we look at a computer screen, you have images, you have written text, you can have equations, films, you can have anything on a computer screen. But fundamentally, everything you see on a computer screen is digits. It's digits which are based on the binary system of 0 and 1. And this is why I put up on the screen this double helix of the DNA, which is actually a binary system. And it really emphasizes the essence of the Torah, the essence of Genesis, and that is the aspect of duality. And we'll be talking about duality actually in the next session. So, Gematria, numbers, text. Where did it begin? Historically, there were indications which suggest that it was 6th century BCE from the Greeks. In fact, the word gematria comes from the Greek, that it was used by the Tanaim, which was a group of rabbis located in Tiberias around the 1st, 2nd century CE. I have actually identified evidence which takes us even 300 or 400 years further back to about 200 BCE in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And it's very clear to me, at least, and we will see this in the process of discussion, that the Dead Sea Scrolls, or the scribes of the Dead Sea Scrolls, had a very profound understanding of Gematria. So how is it that letters, words, sentences, and numbers are related? Let's first have a look at the Hebrew. So the word for number in Hebrew is mispar, and what you see here in the text is continuation of this letter sequence. It's samach, pei, resh, and these are the 3 letters which are the root letters of the word mispar, meaning number. But to count is to lispor, using these same 3 letters. A story is a sipur. A scribe is called a sofar, and to tell is to lesaper, and a book is a sefer. So in the Hebrew language, numbers and writing and stories are absolutely come from the same root. And even in English, we say you recount something, which also has that type of implication. So, so the idea of Gematria is that the story is implied in the numbers, or the numbers are implied in the story. So how does Gematria differ from other systems? Well, if you can see this screen here, and I admit it's slightly blurred, but basically the Hebrew alphabet, it comprises of 22 letters. And these letters are not in sequence of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with assigned numbers, but rather it jumps in scales of 10. It goes from 1 to 9. So Aleph is 1, and the letter Tet is 9. Then it jumps from 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 up to 90. So 10 is the letter Yod, and 90 is the letter Tzadik. And then it jumps again from 100, 200, 300, 400, where the last letter of the alphabet is the letter Taf. So here you have 3 levels, you can say. And this is what I've called the physical world in the letters, or the phenomenal world, the letters of 1 to 9. And then when it jumps into the 10s, it's the conscious world, the world of the mind. And then when we come to the 100s, it is the spiritual world. But then the spiritual world, it ends at 400, the last letter in the alphabet. So what happens after that? And this is actually very interesting, because 500 is jumping to the next world. And then it goes up to 1000. So 400 is the highest spiritual level that man can reach on an earthly plane. And then in the next sequence, he moves into the supra-spiritual plane. So this is a very important concept, and it should be remembered. The other aspect in this sequence is that when we jump from the units to the 10s to the 100s, for example, if you take the letter Daled, which has a value of 4, and the letter Mem, which has a value of 40, and the letter Taf, which has a value of 400, these are related. What that means is that 4 on the physical plane is related to 40 in the conscious plane, which is related to 400 in the spiritual plane. Another important aspect here is the symbols that are associated with the different letters. You'll notice that the letter 1, Aleph, number 1, is related to the bull's head. This is actually very, very interesting. It's an aspect which we'll cover a bit later. Bet is related to house, Gimel, a camel. 4 is related, or Daled is related to a door. In fact, the word for door in Hebrew is delet. So it's related to door. Taf is a cross. So we have some very interesting forms and shapes and images which are associated with the numbers, which are associated with the letters. So this is the fundament of Gematria. And in the next session, we will talk a bit more about these fundaments and how it's expressed in the first word and the first letter of the Bible. Enjoy. Have a good day.